Welcome to the Moved to Meditate podcast. I'm your host, Addie D. Hilster. This is a place for vibrant discussions about mindfulness, movement practices, and ways to find more balance and presence in daily life. Here you'll find resources to help you progress on your path, as well as insightful conversations with mindful movement, yoga, meditation, and Dharma teachers from a range of traditions. On this podcast, we spotlight embodied approaches to mindfulness and the more contemplative aspects of movement practice. Listen in and connect to a community of like-minded practitioners. Hello, everyone. I'm back this week with a guided meditation. This will be a 15-minute body scan, which is a classic practice for cultivating mindfulness of the body and developing embodied awareness. The meditation itself will start after this brief intro. I do like to give a little extra context for the guided meditations when I share them on the podcast, but you can skip ahead if you're ready to practice. I'll never know. Mindfulness of the body is traditionally the first foundation of mindfulness. But for many of us, it's quite difficult to stay connected with the felt sense of the body. There are a lot of reasons we get pulled away from our embodied awareness because of busyness, speeding through the day, getting lost in our devices, and living in a culture that generally values our intellectual side over our embodied knowing. Experiences of trauma, pain, or illness can also contribute to the sense of mind-body separation, as can experiences of being othered, related to attributes of our body, whether that's based on our size, race, age, sexuality, gender expression, or physical ability. By practicing mindfulness of the body, you can develop a habit of checking in more often, learning to listen to the body, and gradually re-embodying your full self. You can learn to get much clearer on what your body is actually feeling in the present moment. And over time, this work can really shift your relationship to your body, how you sense it, how you talk to it, how you talk about it, how you work with its energies, and how you perceive what it even means to be in a body. Getting to know the body up close by observing its aliveness in the present moment is very different than basing your relationship on all of the accumulated messages you've received about bodies over the course of your lifetime. So the body scan is a wonderful embodied mindfulness practice. As we move our attention through the body, the intention is to be receptive to sensations in a non-judgmental way. We learn to be with the full range and variety of sensations, pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral ones, intense sensations and subtle ones, familiar ones and new or mysterious ones. This meditation also pairs very well with movement. You can do a body scan before you do a movement practice as a way of really establishing connection to what you're feeling. Or you can do some movement first and benefit from waking up sensation in the body, which might make it easier to connect as you move your awareness through different areas in the body scan. If you want to hear more about mindfulness in the body, I did an episode last year sometime called Bodyfulness, and that was episode 36. It goes into more of the reasons why we benefit from developing a deeper embodiment. And lastly, after your meditation, when you have a moment, it would be so helpful if you'd leave a review, especially if you're listening on the Apple Podcast platform. Or if you're on YouTube, you can like or comment on the episode. These little things that just take a moment to do really give us a boost in the good old algorithm, and that means others will have an easier time of finding the podcast. So thank you very much for listening and for being here and practicing today, and thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for creating all the little ripples of mindfulness and care you're creating wherever you are. Okay, let's settle in for this meditation. Hello, this is Addie D. Hilster, and I'll be guiding you today through a body scan, which is a wonderful embodied mindfulness practice. As we move our attention through the body in this practice, the intention is to be receptive to sensations in a non-judgmental way. And sensations come in all kinds of forms. Some places in the body will feel more, some less. If there's an area that you know is a bit more emotionally fraught or that's experiencing a lot of physical pain, you can skip over it for now and focus on areas that feel more neutral. You can always include those areas another time when you feel ready. Lastly, if at any point you start to feel overwhelmed, you can just open your eyes, look around, reorient to your present moment environment, shift your position, or totally stand up and stop the meditation if it's not quite right for you today. With these options in mind, the body scan can be a fantastic vehicle for exploring embodied presence on your own terms. Let's get started. Let's come into a comfortable seated position or lying down position. And take a moment to arrange yourself so that you feel supported, feel steady. Take a few breaths, letting yourself relax into the posture as much as possible. And then starting to bring your attention to the top of the body, to the head. Notice any sensations around the top of the head and forehead. There may not be a lot going on, but we can be curious. Maybe you notice some crinkle in your forehead or some engagement of muscles around your eyes. We can soften and relax these areas as we become aware of them. And we'll continue letting our attention flow down the face and the head, sides of the face, back of the head, and through all the sense organs on the front of the face, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Maybe you feel a breath as it flows in and out from this perspective of the nose and the mouth. Maybe you feel the jaw, giving it permission to relax a little bit. We'll keep our attention moving and flowing and let it move down into the throat and the neck. With each area of the body, we're just being receptive. There may be a lot to feel there or not so much. We're just kind of saying hello with our attention and listening for an answer, listening for any signals or sensations. And starting to feel into the shoulders. The shoulder joints. The upper arm bones. You might even feel areas where clothing is touching your skin. Maybe you feel a muscle relaxing, continuing down through the elbows and the forearms. Maybe you feel where your arms are resting on your lap or on the ground. Feeling into the hands. Whatever the hands might be touching. We can notice texture, softness, hardness. We can notice that outside of the hand, through whatever the hand is resting upon, but also internally, the textures of skin and bones and muscles. Maybe you feel some temperature sensations in the hands, like warmth or coolness. Maybe some sensations of movement, like little muscle twitches or the pulse of circulation, tingliness. And we'll bring our attention back up to the upper torso, around the chest and the upper back. So feeling ourselves in three-dimensional form, the front and the back. Chest and this energetic heart area. We might feel physical sensations as well as emotional sensations, lightness, heaviness, expansiveness, contraction. Keep our attention moving downward through the rib cage, all around the front, back, and sides of the ribs and this middle part of the torso. Feeling movement with the breath, perhaps. Letting our attention move on down into the lower back, as well as the abdomen, the front of the body. Feeling front to back, this part of the torso. Of course, we feel some parts of the body more clearly than others. Totally normal. Can even change depending on your position or even the clothing you're wearing. That can have an influence. And we can let our attention move into the very base of the torso, the hips, the pelvis. You might feel how your body's resting on the ground or on a chair or cushion. Maybe it's the back of the pelvis. Maybe it's the sitting bones, depending on your posture. Moving on down into the sense of the legs, the upper part of the legs. And when we reach a part of the body sometimes where there's an image or a memory or a thought comes up, an opinion we have about the body, we can just acknowledge that. We can note that as thinking. And then we keep our body scan moving, staying with the pure sensations as much as we can. Just feeling what the legs are contacting or what might be touching the skin. Maybe moving on down into the knees and noticing any sensations there. The hardness of the bones and joints. Noticing how the skin may pull tight over parts of the knees or may feel delicate in other parts of the knees. Feeling into the lower leg, the shin and the calf. Maybe you feel a muscle let go of some tension. Or you feel the weight of this part of the leg resting onto something. Or maybe it's a part of the body that feels less clear. We're just curious, just exploring. We continue to feel our way down into the ankles, and then the feet. Bringing our curiosity to the feet. Sensations of touch. Temperature. Heaviness or lightness. Twitchiness, tingliness, whatever's here to be noticed. And let's see if we can open our attention from the feet all the way up to the rest of the body, feeling our whole form at once. From the feet to the crown and the front to the back, the left to the right. Opening our lens of awareness wide enough to hold the whole body. This full range of different sensations, some more pleasant, some less pleasant, some maybe neutral, some that are more intense, others more subtle, coming and going. A feeling of the body like it's a universe, it's the night sky, and we're watching the sensations twinkle like the stars, sparkling on and off here and there. Now a little brighter, now a little dimmer. Sensations coming and going in this alive, breathing body. Thank you very much for your presence and your practice. So that's today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share it with a friend, subscribe on YouTube, or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and help others find it that way. To learn more about my work, the Moved to Meditate class library, courses, or teacher trainings, go to movedtomeditate.yoga. This is Addie D. Hilster. Thanks so much for listening.